Okay, I'll make that 8 o'clock by my watch. So let's start tonight's presentation. So good evening, everybody. My name is Roland Eva, and I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to join me tonight to learn the only three things you need to build your dream business, a business that gives you the income and lifestyle you want. As you'll learn tonight, I spent 7 years learning how to write a letter or a video script that makes money on demand. During this time, I learned how to relax with the security of knowing where your next sale is coming from. Or to put it another way, how to get off the income roller coaster. You step off the income roller coaster when you build assets that generate income. Tonight, you'll learn the assets that you need to build for your dream business. I'll share with you tonight how my 7 year journey of discovery ended when I accidentally made £673,000 in 9 days, and how I took that experience and transformed it into a simple three-step system so that level of success could be repeated across multiple industries for both products and services. Tonight, you'll learn what those three secrets are and how you can use them in your business. So here's what you'll learn tonight. You'll learn the only three things you need to build your dream business. You'll learn how to make money on demand without a sales team, and you'll learn how to relax with the security of knowing where your next sale is coming from. In other words, you'll learn how to attract more customers and make them want to work with you. You see, if you can attract more customers, you can confidently charge what you're worth. You'll be able to step off the income roller coaster, and the days of feast and famine are over when you use this simple three-step system. So, how do you go from where your business is today to what I call the promised land of your dream business? Well, there are just 3 steps. So step 1 is to find and clone your ideal customer. So your ideal customer is somebody that needs your help and is willing to pay for it. Step 2 is to earn their trust. And then step 3 is to make them feel good about buying. So as a thank you for joining me tonight, at the end of tonight's training, I'm going to give you my ebook, the ultimate business plan. So this shows you how to accurately calculate the time and cost to achieve your goals when you use this simple 3-step system. So I'm going to give you that as a thank you for joining me this evening. So before we go much further, let me just answer a different question that you might have. And that's, who am I and why should you listen to anything that I have to say? So I'm the guy that accidentally discovered how to make £673,000 in 9 days. And that might sound crazy, but I'll tell you how my journey started, and you'll see just how chaotic it was and why I was just as shocked as anybody else when we achieved that level of success. And then I'll tell you about how I took that experience and I transformed it into a repeatable system that works in any industry to sell products and services at any price. So I've used it in the property investment, I've used it in business opportunity, entrepreneurship, finance, weight loss, alternative health, software, and consulting. So there's a broad range of industries there. And I've used it to sell both products and services ranging in price from £5 to £12,000. And that's why I know this system will work to help you build your dream business. So where did my journey start? Well, it started on Monday, the 15th of September, 2008. And I remember exactly where I was when I felt the earth shake. So I'm going to ask you, where were you on Monday, the 15th of September, 2008? Now, you might be thinking, Roland, that's a crazy question. I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, let alone where I was 11 years ago. But this picture might jog your mind. You see, Monday, the 15th of September, 2008, that was the day when Lehman Brothers went bust. That was the day when markets around the world went into free fall. So I was in Barcelona on honeymoon, and I remember absent-mindedly turning on the television as I was waiting for my wife to take a shower before we went out for dinner. And what I saw kept me wide-eyed and open-mouthed. I mean, I literally couldn't take my eyes off the screen. But what I wanted to know was what it all meant. But on that day, all people had were the facts that Lehman Brothers had gone bust, the facts that the Federal Reserve refused to bail them out, the facts that this has sent markets around the world into free fall. So As my wife and I walked through the narrow streets of Barcelona to a recommended restaurant, I explained to her why I had forced her to wait. And I told her, the investment bank Lehman Brothers has gone bust. And, understandably, she said, well, so what? How does that affect us? Now, I'm not an economic analyst and I wasn't pretending to be. But I said, I believe that banks are going to stop lending, that this is going to mean that big businesses are going to stop investing in growth, that small businesses are likely to get stiffed for some of their bills, and that means that a lot of small businesses are going to go under. Now, why did I believe that? I believe that because I knew a lot of business owners who lost their business in the recession of the 90s, and that's exactly what happened. So I was looking at the past to predict the future, and the future I saw was grim. But what I can't tell you is why I believed that my business would succeed when so many others would fail. I was just determined that it would. Unfortunately, determination without a proven plan only fanned the flames of my failure. So what was my success plan? My success plan was simple. Call more customers than any of my competitors, and I would win business from them. And if that's what I did, it might have worked. But what I did was what I knew. And what I knew was how to run Facebook ads and Google ads. In other words, I knew how to get lots of eyeballs onto my site really cheaply. So I ran increasing amounts of traffic to send as many people to my website as possible, in the belief that if enough people saw my site, that they would pick up the phone and call me. There was just one problem. My website had virtually no words on it. So it didn't tell potential customers who I am, how I can help them, what makes me different, and why they should do business with me over anyone else. So I was expecting customers to finish my thought. I was expecting potential customers to look at my website and immediately decide that I was the photographer or graphic designer for them, and that they should pick up the phone and book me. But that's not what happened. Why? Because if you want someone to take action, you've got to tell them what action you want them to take. So if I had written something as simple as give me a call or drop me an email to discuss your wedding, then I might have actually got some people to bring some new business or generate some new inquiries. Now, after a few months, I could see that what I was doing wasn't working. I could see that my business was failing and I was unable to do anything about it. And I was trying to spend my way to success rather than learn my way to success. And I felt frustrated. I felt angry. But most of all, I felt terrified. I was terrified about what would happen next. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to change things. So I continued doing what I was doing. Now, that kind of stupidity only lasts for so long. And in my case, that had to stop when I ran out of savings. When I ran out of savings, I was forced to close the doors on my business. And, as I did that, I made a commitment to myself. And my commitment was to discover how marketing could make money on demand without a sales team. Now, I didn't know if this was possible. I had no idea who could teach me. And even if I did know who could teach me, I had no money to pay for their help. In other words, I had no money, no idea, just a belief, this huge belief that this was possible. So what was I going to do? Well, I did the only thing that I could, which was to get a job. So I got a job for a specialist PC gaming distributor. And it was a pretty cool job because I was managing the UK marketing campaigns for some of the biggest names in PC gaming. So if you're a PC gamer, then names like Razer, Sennheiser, Corsair, they will mean something to you. But if, like me, you're a Mac user and you've never played a computer in your life, then you'll have to take my word for it that these are huge brands like Apple, Amazon, and Nike. So for someone that doesn't play computer games, I was surprisingly good at my job. Why? Because I understood the customer and what would influence their purchase decision. So I had great relationships with the biggest magazines and websites, with all the editors. And remember, PC gamers, they spend a lot of time online, so they're going to read online reviews. So every time I got a new piece of kit, I could pick up the phone, call the editors, and tell them about it, and say, your audience will love this. And they'd say, Roland, we trust you, send it through to me. And what seemed like the next issue of the magazine there would be a picture of whatever it was. It might have been a mouse, like the Razer mouse you can see on screen in front of you. So that would be on the cover of the magazine, and there would be a 4 or 6 page review. So I supported the editorial coverage with advertising. And then I also did some, pretty cool things like sponsor esports competitions. So in the same way that people watch professional footballers play football, hardcore PC gamers watch professional gamers play computer games. So I was doing all the quote unquote right things. And the brands loved my work and they lavished me with praise. But I felt like a fraud. Because after spending £100,000 of their money, I couldn't prove that marketing had made a single sale. I was doing all the right things, just like with my photography and graphic design business. But I had no idea if the promotional activity that I made a single sale. Yes, I could show you that sales had gone up, but was that because of what I did, or was that because of the sales team? So I'd walked down a time-consuming dead end. It was clear that I wasn't going to learn the secrets that I was after in my job. So I turned to education, and I turned to traditional education. So the biggest and most respected name in marketing education is the Chartered Institute of Marketing. And if you want to become marketing director, then you must have these qualifications on your CV. So I decided, right, I'm going to do all their courses. So 90% of people that do their courses have them paid for by their company. And, I dutifully went to my company and said, this is what I want to do. Will you pay for it? And they said, no way. Like, what's the benefit to us? So I could see the benefit to myself. And this was my feature. So I, happily paid for the courses myself. So the courses were £3,000 a year. And saving that from, at the time I was making £21,000 a year. So that was a big financial sacrifice that, I had to make and I had to force my wife to make. So how did we, save that money? We didn't go out for meals out, and we didn't go on holiday. So I did, 2 of their courses. So that's 2 years of my life, £6,000. And after, not going on holiday for 2 years, living fairly frugally, sacrificing time and money, I had to sit down with my wife and say, I failed. I failed to discover how marketing could make money on demand. Yes, I passed their qualifications. Yes, their qualifications are good, just not for what I wanted. And I had to tell her that, I didn't want to quit this journey of discovery because I believed that it was so powerful. I also believed that this was possible. So I asked her if she would endure future sacrifices with me. And to my delight, she said yes. But the question was, where was I going to learn these things? Because I'd walked down a dead end with my job. I'd walked down a costly and time-consuming dead end with traditional education. So where was I going to turn next? Well, I turned to the only thing I could, which was to get another job. So I got a job with a property education company. And my job was simple. It was get qualified leads for the sales team. There was just one problem. I had no idea how to do this. So for months, I'm failing at my job. I mean, failing miserably. And I'm absolutely terrified that I'm going to be fired. I'm terrified that somebody's going to say, Roland, you can't do your job, get out. And one day, my boss made a throwaway comment. He said, why don't you read some books by Dan Kennedy? So, I went online and ordered Dan Kennedy's No BS Direct Response Marketing. And, 2 days later, it shows up, the beauty of Amazon. And I felt in that moment like I discovered how marketing could make money on demand. Because this book finally showed me what I call the map to El Dorado. The fabled city of gold. Now, I would love to tell you that I read one book and then I knew everything that I needed to know. But of course, that's not how it works. So one book led to another, which led to a course, which led to a mentorship program. And each step I took me further down the rabbit hole with greater levels of excitement and determination. Now, I was still paying for education on my own and still forcing my wife to make sacrifices. Now, each time I learned something new, I tested the idea out in my job and with my consulting clients. And each idea gave me a better response. So this was great. Yeah, I had proof that this works in the real world. The only problem was it felt like a huge amount of effort for a tiny increase in response. Now that all changed in December of 2014. So in September, my daughter was born. So you can see a picture of her here at 48 hours old. And in December, I took the month off to spend time with her. And when she was sleeping, I was studying. So for about 6 hours a day, I was learning about this new form of marketing called product launches. And by New Year, I was confident about using this system. So the 5th of January, 2015 was the first working day of the year. And my boss sits me down and he says, right, I want us to be the biggest name in the UK for this new course, which is teaching people how to sell white label products on Amazon. And I said, okay, great. The only way we can do that is if we use this new form of marketing that I've discovered. And he said, hey, you're the marketing manager, do what you think is best. So I was shocked. I was expecting some resistance, but no, he said, put it together. So I was like, great. So, I then had to sit down with my team, and I would love to tell you that we sat around the campfire like this, but no, we, sat in a meeting room. And, I gave them my most impassioned rap, and they looked at me like I was crazy. They hated the idea because it was a lot more work and there was a lot more risk because it meant doing something completely different to what we'd done before. So I also wrote the target on the wall, which was to make 1,000 workshop sales in 9 days. So to put that into some kind of perspective, 200 would have been really good. 300 would have been amazing. So 1,000 was just way beyond anybody's wildest imagination. So I forced this idea through and backed myself into a very dangerous corner, to the point where if this failed, I wasn't sure that I'd still have a job. So after the first day of selling, we sold 32. So everybody's looking at me like, oh man, you failed. Like, you might as well quit now. And my response was, let's just make the next 8 days great. Let's see if this thing works. And if it doesn't, hey, I'll hold up my hands. But let's just follow this through. So you have to understand that at this stage, this was just an academic idea. I'd never used it in the real world, and I didn't know anybody else that had. But I just believed in this system. So at the end of 9 days, we sold 1,115. So we made £30,105 in sales. And, I felt relieved. I had proof that this thing worked. Not only did it work, but it worked better than anything else I'd ever used or learned before. And I felt like, this was validation of my 7-year journey of discovery. So did I get a pat on the back for all this hard work? Did they say, Roland, you're clearly a genius? No, of course not. The only question people had was, how can we make this better next time? So to make it better next time, instead of selling a £27 product like we did the first time around, we were going to sell a £2,000 workshop. So I was terrified. I had no idea if you could sell a £2,000 workshop without a sales team. But I was excited to find out. I wanted to know, the limit of this system that was more powerful than anything I'd ever used before. And there wasn't long to wait because, you set up the campaign, and once it runs, it's all over in 9 days. So 9 days, we made £673,000 in sales. And I felt absolutely delighted. I felt like I'd crossed a threshold, that had given myself unlimited opportunities to help both myself and other people. Now, I'd love to tell you that we celebrated like the Wolf of Wall Street, but no, we went to Nando's for lunch. It's all about levels. Now, as I've already mentioned, I took that amazing result and I transformed it into a simple, repeatable system. And tonight, I'm going to share with you the only 3 things you need to make money on demand and to relax with the security of knowing where your next sale is coming from. So what are they? So step 1 is to find and clone your ideal customer, the person that needs your help and is willing to pay for it. Step 2 is to earn their trust. And step 3 is to make them feel good about buying. So these are the steps that you must take to attract more customers and to make them want to work with you. And when you can attract more customers, you can confidently charge what you're worth. So you'll be able to step off the income roller coaster when you use this system. So let's take a look at it in a little more detail. So step one is to find and clone your ideal customer. So how do you do that? So the first thing you need to know is, who are you looking for? Because if you don't know who you're looking for, you're never going to find them. And then the second thing, once you know who you're looking for, is where can you find them? So let's look at who. So the process of understanding who your ideal customer is what I call painting a portrait of your ideal customer. So remember, we're looking for the person that needs your help and is willing to pay for it. Now, I call this your ideal customer because there's always going to be a fictional element to them, because the characteristics are based on more than one person. Now, there is a simple process to paint a portrait of your ideal customer. And like all processes, it just requires a little discipline to follow it. That's it. So if you complete the 18 steps that I'm going to show you now, you will paint a portrait of your ideal customer and you'll put yourself ahead of most businesses. So let's take a look at these steps. So step number one is, who are they? So this is your biggest, broadest brush. We're not looking for fine detail here. So something as simple as, I help men in their 40s to lose weight, or I help women that have had a baby 3 months ago to get back into their jeans, or I help ambitious people to build a property portfolio with none of their own money. Whatever it is, but just, state who you help very, very broadly and simply. So the next step is adding in some of the fine detail. So it's, how do they describe themselves? What I call their egoic label. So we all wear badges, invisible badges with pride. So one such badge that I wear with pride is proud father. So if you were to say to me, Roland, you're a terrible dad, believe me, I would debate with you. I would argue with you day and night, because I would want to prove to you that, no, I am actually a good dad. Yeah, I am a proud father. How does that help you? Well, it means that, if you wrote a message that said what every proud father ought to know about raising confident kids, well, I'm going to read that message. Why? Because you're pulling me in with the words proud father. Hey, it makes me feel like this has been written for me. So what other egoic labels do people wear with pride? What other badges have they earned? We've got things like business owner, entrepreneur, graduate, doctor. These are all things that they've worked for. Hey, investor. I'm sure you can come up with others, but you need to think about how your ideal customer describes themselves. So what do they want? Now, this is critical because people buy what they want, not what they need. So the most extreme example of this is an alcoholic. So an alcoholic knows that he does not need another drink, but he will beg, borrow, and steal to get one because he wants one badly. So what do your ideal customers want badly? What do they want more than anything else? And what is preventing them from getting what they want? So I call this the obstacle. What's the obstacle that's standing in their way? So you need to know this, because what you need to, when you can describe the obstacle better than they can, then you will earn their trust because they will feel understood. The other reason why you need to get clear on the obstacle is you need to prove to them that you can remove the obstacle from their life faster than anybody else. So getting clear on what that is critically important. So beliefs. What beliefs do they have? Now, I'm not talking about religious beliefs or political beliefs, but how do they see the world? Do they believe that education is the shortcut to success? Do they believe that, you're born into a station and you can't change? Yeah. What are their beliefs? Because you don't want to have to challenge their beliefs. Yeah. You want to be able to essentially sing to the choir. You want to know that, yeah, these people believe that, by getting educated, I can shortcut my success. Okay, great. You can help them. So what keeps them awake at night? Yeah, these are going to be imminent, looming problems, big problems that they're, really worried about. So things like, can I afford to pay my mortgage? Or what happens if my car doesn't pass its MOT next week? Or what happens if I lose my job? Frustrations. What are they frustrated about? And then equally, what are their top 3 daily frustrations? So, commuting to work might be a huge one. Again, if you can, you know, show them how they can avoid that, then that's going to grab their attention. So what are they angry at, and what are they angry about, and who are they angry at? Again, very powerful motivators to get people to drop everything and read your message. So secret language. Secret language is huge. This is a bit like egoic label. So every niche has its own secret language. So property investors have their own secret language. They talk about, HMOs and SA and cash flow and no money down. Equally, internet marketers have their own secret language. We talk about pay-per-click and squeeze pages and conversions and, ideal customers. So the beauty of having secret language is that you show people, hey, I'm part of the club too. And it's a very fast way of getting to understanding. What's the problem? Hey, I've got a problem with my squeeze page. My conversion's terrible. Okay. If you're in that world, you immediately understand the problem. If you're not in that world, then you're going to have to explain it in a different way. So if you want to attract people that are already in your world, use secret language and you will pull them in. But equally, if you want to attract people that aren't yet in your world, then you need to get clear on what language you must not use. Otherwise, you will isolate your ideal customer. So age, this may or may not be relevant. So if you want to help women who have had a baby 3 months ago to get back into their jeans, doesn't matter whether they're, in their 20s or in their 30s or in their 40s. But if you want to help people invest in property, you're not going to get people in the room that are under 40. So, age may be relevant. If so, write it down. Income. What is a lot of money to them? What is not a lot of money to them? What is a waste of their time? If you say to somebody, hey, work really hard using this system and you'll make 100 grand, are they going to say, yeah, that sounds great? Or are they going to say, oh man, that's a waste of my time? Yeah, you need to get clear on that. What hobbies do they have? The more detail you know about your customer, the more you can relate to them in multiple ways. And what trends are occurring in their life? So, are they like me? Their daughter's about to go to school, or are their kids about to go to university? Are their kids about to get on the property ladder, or are they, let's say, 10 years away from retirement? What is their previous level of experience around your product or service? Now, the answer might be none, in which case, no problem. But the answer might be they've probably used similar things, and that might tarnish how they perceive you. And you need to know that in order to overcome some of those objections. Which brings us on to, what are their fears about your course, your product, or your service? Is their fear only, will it work for me? Or is their fear also, is this right for me? Yeah. And then who does the buyer have to justify their decision to, and what can you give them to enable them to do this? So everybody has to justify their decision to somebody, even if they're spending their own money. So, if I'm going to spend £1,000 on a course, I don't need to tell my wife. But if I'm going to spend 10 grand on a course, even if it's my money, she wants to know. She's going to ask me, who is this with? Why do you think they can help you? Why do you trust them? She's going to want to know all of those answers. Now, a little later in tonight's training, I'm going to tell you what you need to give someone in order that they can justify their decision, their purchase decision, to themselves and to the doubters in their life. So now we know who we're looking for. The question is, where can we find them? So the first question is, where do they spend time online? So everybody's on Facebook, right? But don't just write Facebook. That's the lazy answer. If they spend time on Facebook, do they spend time in specific groups? Or are they just flicking through their newsfeed to kill some time? But they spend time in groups on LinkedIn, for example. Well, that's worth knowing. But also, you need to get clear on what groups do they spend their time in. Similarly, where do they spend their time offline? What do they read? Books, newspapers, magazines, blogs. What do they listen to? Radio, podcasts. What do they watch? Now, this is both TV and YouTube. Now, you might be thinking, why do I want to know what TV programs they watch when I'm never going to run TV ads? But if you run Facebook ads, you can target people who watch The Apprentice, as an example. So by understanding, more about your customer, then you can better find them across multiple platforms. And then the final one, which is hugely powerful, is where do they ask questions? So why is that so powerful? Because if you show up where they ask questions with either paid advertising or organic posts, they will feel heard. So if your ideal customer goes into a specific Facebook group and asks questions, and you go in there and you answer their question, you, number one, make them feel heard. Number two, you're solving an immediate problem for them. So they are going, your message is going to cut through the clutter. People are going, they're going to want to read it. They're going to want to act on your expertise. But you're also demonstrating your expertise to the other members of the community. And you're proving that you're a giver. You're somebody that wants to help other people solve problems. So you will become known in the community, someone that solves problems, someone that people should listen to. Which means that when you then make posts later, your posts are going to be, your voice in that community is going to be heard. So that's hugely, hugely powerful, hugely important. So the other place where everybody asks questions is Google. My mate Google knows everything. So if you show up on Google with an answer to somebody's question through Google AdWords, and you say, hey, download my ebook, and it gives you everything that you need to know, well, chances are pretty high people are going to want to download that ebook. Why? Because you're answering a specific question for them. So that's step one. Step two is to earn their trust. They need to know that you're going to catch them. They need to know that you are going to help them achieve their goals and that you can deliver on your promise. So how do you do that? Well, it's all about starting a relationship with your customer. And to do that, you've got to move from, one-hit wonder into, or move from one-night stand to committed relationship. Because most businesses are trying to be a one-hit wonder. They want their website to make the sale the first time it's seen by a potential customer. And this places an unrealistic burden on the website. Because most websites that sell products, they have a product picture and less than 300 words describing what the product is. If they're clever, they will also describe what the product will do for you. But even if they do everything right, is the customer ready to make a purchase decision? If not, how can you follow up with them? Well, to follow up with them, you need to get their contact details. So this is how you start a relationship. So how do you ask the customer for their contact details? Or how will they be happy to give you their contact details? They will do that if you give them something of value. So something of value that will immediately solve a problem that they have. So this could be packaging your expertise in an ebook or a video or an app. How you package your expertise is irrelevant. The point is you've got to give them something of value, something that they go, oh yeah, that will help me achieve my goals. So I'm happy to give you my contact details. And this gives you permission to start a relationship with your ideal customer. And of course, relationships develop over time. So if you send someone more information about how you can help them, you earn their trust. You prove that you can deliver on your promises. So what trust building tools do you have? So I say there are 3 trust building tools, and they are valuable content, inspirational personal stories, and customer success stories. So let's take a look at valuable content. So we're going to look at valuable content across what I call the 3 categories of business. So you've got business selling products, you've got business selling services, and you've got a local business. And as you can see, a bike shop, as an example, can be in both a local business and a product business. So if you're a specialist bike shop in, Newcastle, you're going to attract local people to your shop. But if you promote yourself well through valuable content, which I'll talk about in a minute, you can sell your products nationally because, hey, you're a bike shop. Yeah, people in London might go, yeah, this is the best place to get these bikes, or I trust these guys more than anyone else. So I will happily pay the postage. So they'll make the bike, they'll ship it to me, I'm happy to pay it. Now, Huntingdon has a comic book shop. And when I say comic book shop, I'm not talking about a newsagent selling comics today. I'm talking about shops selling rare comics. But the reason why it's not in the local business is because, so a friend of mine collects rare comics, and he flew to Vegas to buy an X-Men #1 comic. And he paid $5,000 for a comic. So that was when I was like, oh, wow. I mean, this is like serious money we're talking. And he flew to Vegas because he wanted to get the comic signed by Stan Lee, the creator of X-Men, which of course increased the value of the comic. So even though it's a quote unquote local business, if you're selling comics for $5,000, you need to attract at least a national audience, if not an international audience. So that's why it's in the product category. So let's take a look at what I mean. So if you're a bike shop and you sell, as I say, you've got both a local audience and you can have a national audience, depending on how well you promote your business using valuable content. So what valuable content can you create to earn the trust of your ideal customer? Well, you can start by recommending interesting bike routes. So, hey, what are you doing? You're helping your ideal customer use their product, enjoy their product. So you can start with local bike routes, yeah? These are the 10 most idyllic bike routes that are 25 miles. Here's the ones that are 50 miles. Or, you can recommend ones, hey, here's a 20-mile bike ride with a pub halfway around. Yeah, great. But of course, once you've recommended the local ones, you're going to need to share some additional routes with people. So maybe you have, the 10 best mountain climbs for, the enthusiast road bike rider. Or, the 10 most beautiful rides in the country, whatever it is. Now, of course, if one of those rides is near Cambridge, let's say as an example, and you live in Newcastle and a friend of yours lives in Cambridge, what are you going to do? You're going to share the content with them. So valuable content is being passed on to other ideal customers from your customer base, which of course attracts more people to you. It earns more trust. It shows people how you can help them. So what other valuable content could a bike shop share? Well, they could write their own reviews. So they could have the best bike for, the best road bike for under £500, or the best mountain bike for under £500, or the best commuter bike, or the best commuter bike for under £500. And of course, we live in England, so they could have the best all-weather gear, or the essential all-weather gear. The point is all of these things demonstrate their expertise, they earn the trust of their ideal customer, and they help their ideal customer use the product better or enjoy the product more. So what about if you sell weight loss supplements? So this is, straight in the product category. So you sell products from a website. In this instance, we're talking about weight loss supplements. So what could you do? How could you help somebody, get more out of the product? Well, you could write a recipe and a meal plan, because what are they trying to do? They want a weight loss supplement to lose weight. So if you can, share with them the magic diet that lets you lose weight, be more productive, and never feel hungry, they're going to want that. And if it's really good, tasty, and easy to prepare, what are they likely to do? Share your content with other people that they know you can help, which, guess what? Pulls more people into your community. What else could they share? They could share zero-time exercise tips. And if they include shocking or little-known statistics, then it's going to become a talking point. So an example of this, which I'm just making up, so please don't quote me on this, is, taking the stairs instead of the lift is the same as doing a 20-minute run. Yeah, if they're true, they're these crazy things that nobody believes. They're like, they become talking points. They become things you're going to share. Oh, and guess what? If you want to lose weight, 0-time exercise tips is going to be helpful. So what about if you're a trainer, mentor, or consultant? You need to share your hard-won secrets to do what you do. Because when you reveal all or part of your system, and people can see what makes you different and how you do what you do. Now, you might be thinking, if you're a consultant, why would I give everything away? Why would I tell people how I do what I do? Well, the answer is part of the reason why your customers hire you is because one, of your expertise, but two, it's your time. They don't have time to do it themselves. So they want you to go, right, you can deliver this result, great. I understand how hard it is, and I understand what time is involved. You can just do it all. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, when people know how hard it is to do what you do and they understand how long it takes, they're less likely to, argue over the cost of your fees. But each piece of content must give your audience an aha. Yeah, they must understand something new after reading your blog or reading your ebook or watching a video. So make sure each piece of content stands on its own. So that's how you can build trust with different business types with valuable content. So what's step 3? How do you make people feel good about buying? Well, obviously, the first way is you can pick up the phone and speak to them. But if you want to sell, and that's one-to-one, but if you want to sell one-to-many, what tools do you have? So you've got an online training or a webinar, much like tonight's training, or you've got a sales page. So those are the 2 tools that you have. And what do you need to use in them? You need a story and an irresistible offer. So if you're going to create a persuasion cathedral, an edifice of persuasion, this is, you need a blueprint. So here's the blueprint. So number 1, you've got to grab the attention of your ideal customer. You've got to show them a better life. Give them a front row seat to a better life. Show them what's in it for them. 2, who are you? You've got to explain who are you and why they should trust you. Yeah? How did you discover your secret? What makes it unique? So then you've got to talk about what results you've achieved. And then you can start going into your offer, which is here's what I've got. Here's what it will do for you. Here's what it costs. Here's why you can get it at a discount if you act fast. And here's what you need to do next. So how can we simplify that? Well, the simplified version is you still need a headline. You still got to pull people into your message, something that's going to make them drop what they're doing and read your message or watch your video. So you need an inspirational personal story and you need an irresistible offer. So you've seen the 3 steps, but what's the magic fairy dust? What's the magic fairy dust that makes all 3 steps easier? Well, the magic fairy dust is storytelling. Why? Because people don't really buy products or services. We buy a set of values. And there is nothing that reveals the values of a company and the people that work there better than stories. Stories get past our sales resistance. Stories connect 2 human beings in a memorable way. And stories give you a competitive advantage that no one can steal. Because let's face it, no one has your story. And stories arm your prospect with the tools to defend his purchase decision from himself and the doubters in his life. So if you remember, question or step 18 of painting a portrait of your ideal customer is, who does the buyer have to justify their decision to? And what can you give them to do that? The answer is an inspirational personal story, a story that is short, memorable, and emotional. They will use that to defend their decision. Now, you might be thinking, you don't have, so what stories do you need to tell? You need to tell the stories. Who are you? What you do or sell? How long have you been in this business, or how successful have you been? How do you help your customers? What makes you different or unique? And how did you create your product or service? And why should I trust you? Now, that's a lot of stories, right? Well, here's the good news. There's one story that unites them all. And that is what I call your epic story. So your epic story is how you got from the bottom of the mountain to the promised land of where you are today. And, how you climbed the first mountain peak only to realize just how much further you had to go. And what happened when you, went through some setbacks and what kept you going despite all of the setbacks, despite the hardship. Yeah. When you tell your epic story, you will earn the trust of your ideal customer. Why? Because they'll know that you're telling a true story. Because guess what? We all suffer setbacks. We all start out on a journey, and then we only realize halfway through that it's a lot harder than we thought. Yeah. When you can honestly share that with your ideal customer, you'll earn their trust. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have an inspirational personal story. Now, I know that's not true. I know you've got an inspirational personal story just waiting to be told. How do I know that? Because you're here with me tonight. This tells me that you're on the path less traveled. And anyone that's on the path less traveled has an interesting story. You might also be thinking, I don't know how to tell an inspirational personal story. And that's okay, because I would love to share with you my 5-step system of how to do that. So my 5-step system is based around the system or the formula that Hollywood screenwriters use. And that formula is called the hero's journey. Now, you might be thinking, do formulas work? Well, this formula has worked for movies as as different as Star Wars, to Rocky, to Avatar, to, if you have kids and you watch cartoons, Moana and Ballerina. So a huge range of different story genres and styles, yet they all use the same formula. They all stick to the hero's journey. Now, my 5-step system is a simplified version of that makes it easier to tell inspirational personal stories. And you will have people sat on the edge of their seat without having to embellish your story. You'll never have to lie, simply because the structure makes your story inspiring and thrilling. So I'd love to help you. I'd love to help you grow your business. You see, my mission is to prevent every entrepreneur from suffering through the same pain as I did when I lost my business. And that's why I started, a consulting business. That's how I started out. And I had so many people say to me, hey, Roland, can you help me? But they couldn't afford my fees. So I needed to find another way to help them. And that's why I started a training and mentorship company. You see, you can confidently build your dream business when you can find your ideal customer, earn their trust, and make them feel good about buying. It really is as simple as that. And with my system, you can make money on demand without a sales team, enjoy a consistent income, and get off the income roller coaster. So to show you how to use my simple system, I've created an online course called How to Turn Your Passion and Experience into Your Dream Business. So as the graphic shows, you can access this course on any device with a Wi-Fi connection, whether that's a desktop, a laptop, a tablet, or a phone. And it's a series of videos as well as audio recordings. So if you want to access, if you just want to listen to the audio recordings while you're at the gym or when you're in the car, then you can. And so it's 5 modules showing you how to find your ideal customer, how to earn their trust, and how to make them feel good about buying. So let's take a look at each module. So module 1 shows you how to find and clone your ideal customer. So this walks you through in much greater detail than I did tonight. It shows you how to use that 18-step process to paint a portrait of your ideal customer. And, who are we looking for? The people that need your help and are willing to pay for it. Module 2 shows you how to build a lucrative email database that fuels your business. In other words, it shows you how to start a relationship with your ideal customer. You start that by asking for their name and email address, and you give them something of value in exchange. So this module also shows you how to turn the information in a database into a community of people that share with you their hopes and dreams, a community that want you to help them achieve their goals faster than anybody else. Now, this module shows you the unchanging principles of lead generation that work in any medium. So they work on Facebook, they work on Google, they work on Instagram, they'll work on LinkedIn, they'll work on Twitter, they work on newspapers and magazines, they'll work with email, but they'll also work with whatever new advertising platform comes up next. Why? because these fundamentals are based on human emotion and psychology. So this is the business asset that lets you relax with the security of knowing where your next sale is coming from. Yeah, your community of raving fans who know who you are, how you can help them, what makes you different. They know your values and they know that they can trust you. These are the people that want you to help them achieve their goals. They're the people that want to work with you. This module shows you how to build that asset in your business. So module 3, which is how to create a competitive advantage that no one can steal, is all about storytelling. So this will show you essentially 2 things. Number 1 is how to uncover your inspirational personal story, even if you think you've lived the most boring life in town. And 2, it will show you how to use my simple 5-step storytelling system to tell your story in an inspirational way. So module 4 is how to craft and use an irresistible offer. So there are 5 persuasion elements that fit together to craft an irresistible offer, an offer that will make your ideal customer feel good about buying. So more than just showing you how to craft an irresistible offer, I'll show you how to use it. Now you might think this seems a little unnecessary, but as I'll show you, the deal of a lifetime will not make sales without a story. Now, if you obey this persuasion rule, your business will thrive, and if you ignore it, your business will fail. And module 5 shows you how to tie together everything you've learned in the previous 4 modules to create money on demand without a sales team. So you'll be given templates for sales pages and webinars. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to spend time, money, and enthusiasm testing ideas. Yeah, you can take these proven templates and start using them immediately. Simply drop in the elements that you'll have created in the previous 4 modules, and you're ready to go. So with this system, you can make money on demand without a sales team. You can relax with the security of where your next sale is coming from, and you can build a business that gives you the income and lifestyle that you want. But there's something else that I'd like to give you, and that's free online mentorship, because I want you to confidently use these secrets to build your dream business. And to do that, I want to give you feedback from a mentor that works with you to guarantee that you use these secrets to grow your business. You see, my job is not to teach you. It's to help you get results, because results are the only thing that matters at the end of the day. Hard-won knowledge only becomes valuable when you use it, when you take action. And taking action on new knowledge is hard. You've got to learn a new skill, and you've got to step out of your comfort zone to use it. I want you to confidently build your dream business with these secrets, which is why I'm including 5 weeks online mentorship. Why 5 weeks? Because there are 5 modules in this course. This gives you 1 week for each module. So this is long enough to fit it around your other commitments and short enough to build up some momentum. So by now you must be wondering, what is the investment? So if you go on to Teachable right now, which is where the course is hosted, you'll see that the course, How to Turn Your Passion and Experience into Your Dream Business, is $997. So on Teachable, it's $997 plus VAT, which is why you can see this price here. So, I'm sure you'll agree that that's an absolute bargain in comparison with the Chartered Institute of Marketing courses, where they won't even teach you these secrets. So here's a reminder of everything that you're getting. So you're getting lifetime access to a 5-module online course called How to Turn Your Passion and Experience into Your Dream Business for $997. You're getting 5 weeks online mentorship for £500, or it's free, but it should be £500. So that's a total value of £1,497. Now I know that an investment of $997 is an absolute bargain in comparison with a 7-year journey of discovery. It certainly cost me a lot more to learn these secrets. I also know that investment of £997 in yourself and in your business is a sacrifice that may force you to skip meals with your family. A sacrifice that I know paid off big time for me, but I also know how grateful I am to have a wife that was willing to make those sacrifices with me. Now, I don't want you to have to make that sacrifice, which is why, for a limited time only, you can save £1,400. So that gives you a 94% discount that reduces the investment in yourself and your business to just £97. But that's not all, because you don't risk a penny thanks to my 100% money back guarantee. So here's how it works. If you invest in how to turn your passion and experience into your dream business at the discount of just £97, and you don't think this will help you build your business, then all you have to do is say so within the next 5 weeks, and I'll give you all your money back, and you can keep the course as a thank you from me for giving this a try. That's how much I believe in this. I know this will change your business and it will change your life. Now, you might be thinking, isn't everyone going to ask for a refund? No, I don't believe they will. You see, I believe that just like me, you are looking for a way to grow your business, and you will happily invest in a course that gives you results. I want to prove that this system works for every business in every market, which is why I'm giving you an unconditional guarantee. I want you to confidently use these secrets, which is why I've included 5 weeks free mentorship. So here's my promise to you. Build your dream business or it's free. It's as simple as that. So you get lifetime access to a 5-module online course. You got free online mentorship for the next 5 weeks, and I'm reducing the investment today to just £20. Now, yes, there will be a rebill of £77 in 30 days, bringing the total investment to £97. But for an investment of just £20 today, and you've got 100% money back guarantee. So for an investment today of just £20, you get all of that. So if you want to take advantage of this offer, you need to go to the link that you can see on screen, which is rebrand.ly/your dream business offer. Now, it is case sensitive, so I'm going to type that into the chat box, and you can copy that into a separate tab on your browser if you're interested in that. So I've just typed that into the chat box. So I suppose this is a good time to ask, does anyone have any questions about anything that we've covered so far tonight? No? Okay. So you might be thinking, I don't have time right now. And if that's the case, then you've got nothing to worry about because you've got lifetime access to this course. Plus, you can learn these secrets at the gym or in the car because you've got the audio recordings as well as the video recordings. But the one thing that you'll miss out on is the 5 weeks online mentorship. But here's the good news. If you know that you're going to be stacked for the next few weeks, then all you've got to do is drop me an email and let me know when you'd like your 5 weeks mentorship to start, and we can move it. But you must give me a date. Why? Because that will force you to commit to that date. And when you make a commitment to yourself, then amazing things start to happen. So you might be thinking, does this work for physical products? Yes, absolutely. I've used this system to sell physical products and to sell services that range in price from £5 to £12,000. And I've used it in markets as diverse as property, investment, business opportunity, entrepreneurship, personal development, finance, weight loss, alternative health, and technology. This system is based on the unchanging principles of human psychology and emotion. That's why it works for both products and services in any market. So I guess the big question is, will this system work for you? Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but there are a few things that I know for sure. Things such as, if I drop a glass, it will fall to the ground and break. In the same way, there are things about this system that I know for sure. This system only works if you do. So if you continue doing the work, you will enjoy stunning results. If you continue working, you will succeed beyond your wildest imagination. Why? Because these fundamentals do not change. So in the same way that a schoolboy plays football with passion and determination to win, to get better, they must learn the fundamentals: speed, strength, ball skills, awareness. These fundamentals do not change when they enter the Premiership. Yes, the standard of play has improved, but the fundamentals of the game remain the same. The same thing is true with these fundamentals. If you want a bigger income and a bigger impact, then you must build a bigger community. Now, if you focus on building a bigger community, then your income will soar. So to build a community, you must first find your ideal customer, which is step one. You must then earn their trust, step two. And if you do those things really well, then step three becomes easy. Yeah, making them feel good about buying. Now, most people or most businesses try and skip step two and they go straight to the sale. And this burns the relationship and makes their growth much harder. So what I'd like to do is to share with you a testimonial from someone that has followed my system. Yeah, they did an online course and they asked me to help them with mentorship. And as you'll see, they've enjoyed stunning results. So what I'd like to do is to share, let them speak for themselves. So here is what Wendy had to say. Wendy, thank you so much for joining me this morning. And can you just tell me a little bit about can you just tell me a little bit about your business and what life was like before we started working?
So I run a training and coaching and mentoring business in the property industry, specifically helping people to create a portfolio of HMOs, houses of multiple occupation. And my strapline is that working with me, you can become financially free with 5 properties or less. So the idea is that people join the program and they have a 12-month mentoring program, and I help them to find the right properties, to find the finance, and then to fill the properties with the right tenants and make it a hands-free income. So that's what I've been doing for probably the last couple of years actually, although it was very part-time to start with. I only really incorporated the business in April 2017.
Okay. So if you've already had a successful property training company, why were you looking to make a change?
I wanted to grow it, and I wanted to, I suppose, have the ability to leverage more. So in other words, to take on other people who I could work with, or to be able to, I suppose, work with more people. I felt that I was constantly sort of hitting my head on a bit of a kind of glass ceiling, not being able to take on new mentees, and therefore not being able to take on new members of staff. So I think that I felt I was a little bit stuck.
Okay. And what was it that made you decide?
Well, you always had a very good reputation, Roland. I knew a bit about your work. I knew what you'd done. And I liked your methodology. I thought that was really impressive. I felt that's what I was lacking, was a methodology to be able to achieve those kind of results. And I also felt that you had the expertise to be able to help me to, for example, craft the right email sequence, or to be able to craft the right message to my audience. And that's what I was looking for help on.
Okay, great. So what results have you enjoyed in the format?
Well, my business has really grown. I would say I've become VAT registered. So again, beforehand, I was hitting my head, about the £83,000 turnover, and I wasn't really confident to become VAT registered because every few months implementing would complete the program and I go back to the previous level. So now I am VAT registered, and my turnover increased to about £100,000. So it's probably added potentially £25,000 additional turnover, which is essentially a quarter. It's another 25% turnover to my business. And I think it's not just, Roland, that's a great accolade from you, but I think it's also that you've helped me, give me some focus, you've helped give me some direction, you've helped with me. I think I felt more committed to my business actually through working with you. I think I felt, right, come on, Wendy, girl, do this. This isn't just a hobby. This is something to grow and make really effective. And I think working with you has really helped. I tell you how I really feel about things. I've told you about some of the dichotomies that I have, the quandaries, the fears, the worries. I can say to you, oh, I don't know about this, and it's going to be all right, and this is how I feel, and and you're not scared to emotionally connect with me, and that's actually very important for me, the mentor. vulnerable. And I do sometimes wear my heart on my sleeve, but I've been very glad or grateful to you. You haven't thought, whoa, where's this going? You keyed into it. You've gone deep. You said, okay, why is that? Where does that come from? And let's unpick that a little bit. And how does this affect you? So for me, I probably didn't say this in my testimonial, but it's a bit more than just having a system. It's a person who understands the mindset of where I'm at in my business right now. I totally understand what it's like to run a business that's turning over the level I'm turning over. I'm not turning over £1 million. I don't have 100 employees. It still feels a little bit precarious at times, and I've got a few people who do some work for me every month. I've got to make sure they get paid, and it's fairly reliant on me to drive the engine, and you know how that feels. So that's been incredibly worthwhile. As much as all the email stuff and the marketing stuff, it's having someone I can talk to and say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And that's been immensely helpful. Well, I get an incredible sense of self-satisfaction from it. I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's great to be able to have the holidays and have some extra money to spend, and to be able to give as well. I have charity, have time to do other things. All of those things are fantastic. But I think deep down, it's a sense that I've been able to grow my business and be successful in running a business like this and changing other people's lives. And ultimately, that's what I want to do. So I'm really excited about the future, and I'm really pleased about, I think, what the possibilities are down the line. So yeah, it's great.
Very fantastic. So what would you say to something?
I would say if you're feeling that you're hitting your head on this glass ceiling where you've got some results already, you want to make it happen, you've maybe got an idea about how you can make it work, particularly if you are generally talking all the time for money, small, you now need to grow and expand. And I think working with Roland will help you to expand your offering to your clients, your clientele, and will also give you a much more ability to reach the right people faster. So you will spend less time getting the right clients coming, and you'll be able to target them quicker and faster, and therefore escalate your growth much faster than you've done.
Right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Roland. It's been great working with you. Here's to many more years ahead.
So there you have it. You've seen what's possible when you follow my system. What did Wendy do? She did the work. She followed my system, and now she's enjoying stunning results. Is Wendy any different to you? No, she is not. The only difference is that she put her doubts aside for long enough to give this a try. So I'd like to ask you one final question. So if this only made you £25,000 in the next 4 months, would it be worth an investment today of £97? What if it only made you £12,000 in the next 4 months? Would it be worth an investment of £97 today? What if you only made £6,000? Would it be worth an investment of £97? Because more than the £6,000 or £12,000 or £25,000 that you make in the next 4 months, you'll have learned some new skills so you can continue to enjoy that level of success. Actually, you can continue to grow on that level of success because there's more. You see, you're building assets in your business, assets that can grow over time to increase your impact and your income. So what are the assets that you're building? Well, number one is a lucrative email database that fuels your business. 2 is a book of stories that reveal your values, demonstrate your expertise, attract your ideal customer, so you can earn their trust and make them feel good about buying. 4, packaging your expertise into assets that you can use to attract your ideal customer. So videos or ebooks or anything else. And then you're also building a body of work with webinars and sales pages that you can use to make money on demand. So if you invest £97 and it turns into £6,000 in the next 4 months, that's okay, because you'll know what to do and you'll know how to do the same thing again and to improve on it next time. You'll also know how to calculate the time and cost to achieve your goals, because you'll have the stepping stones to build your dream business, a business that gives you the income and lifestyle that you want, a business that lets you charge what you're worth, and a business that doesn't suffer the feast and famine income of most businesses. So here's my promise to you. Build your dream business or it's free. It's as simple as that. So you've got lifetime access to a 5-module online course. You get free online mentorship. And the investment today is just £20. As I said, there is a rebill in 30 days of £77. But you're covered by my 100% money back guarantee. So, you could spend 12 hours and go through the entire course. And if at that point you go, you know what, this isn't for me, no problem. I'll give you all your money back. But if you go, yeah, this is great, if you start using it, you've then got 5 weeks to pepper me with questions to say, Roland, how can I use this to grow my business? Am I using this correctly? Am I applying this correctly to my business? That's what the free mentorship is there for, to help you use these secrets. So if you'd like to take advantage of this offer, you need to go to rebrand.ly/your dream business offer. And it is case sensitive. So you will need to type it into your browser as you see it on screen, or you can copy and paste the link that I posted in the chat box and then just paste that into a new browser. So if there are no questions, then I would like to give you a thank you gift for joining me this evening, and that is the Ultimate Business Plan. So this is how to accurately calculate the time and cost to achieve your goals. Now I'm going to type the link into the chat box. So it's bit.ly/the Ultimate Business Plan. So yeah, just copy and paste that link into a new tab and you'll be able to download it now. You don't need to opt in or anything like that. So does anyone have any questions before we go on? So, I really want to thank you for taking the time to join me tonight to learn the only 3 things you need to build your dream business. I hope you can now see how you can make money on demand and relax with the security of knowing where your next sale is coming from. I'd love to show you how to do this with my 5-module online course, plus 5 weeks free mentorship. Whether you train with me or with someone else, or you keep figuring this out on your own, I want you to know that I'm in your corner and I believe in you. My hope is that there's been something tonight, an idea, a concept, a story, that has helped spark you into action. I promise that if you make a commitment to keep growing and learning and surround yourself with people who can lift you up, then there's nothing you can't achieve. So if you've got any further questions, you can call me. My mobile number is 07989 408 419, or you can email me. My email address is roland.eva@rolandeva.co.uk. So, thank you so much for taking the time to join me tonight. And until next time, carpe diem.